Hey y'all, it's Natasha at Woollyshire Farm, and we got our own spokes chicken today, Susie Speckles, for as long as she'll let me hold her. She's the only chicken who let me catch her, so sorry about Susie's luck here. So we're going to talk about today why the price of eggs have gone up. I've seen all your jokes online. I've had a pretty good time chuckling at them. Yeah? Have you seen them? Well, what you may not know is that eggs are seasonal, right? They're not common in the winter, right? Winter's the off season, we'll call it. And there's a couple of reasons why. So in the fall, when it starts getting cooler, or sometimes in the late summer, chickens begin to molt. And molt is when they lose their feathers. They look homeless, like no one's taking care of them. And all that calcium that used to go towards egg production to make the eggshell is now going towards producing new feathers, so they can have glorious feathers. I don't know, she's all like, I'm almost done with this interview here. So that's one reason, right? But also less light, less sunlight equals less eggs. So think about your winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, and how you get sad around 5 o'clock and you're like, is it midnight? No, it's only 6 p.m. at night. So that's the same for chickens, because they need approximately, come on, there you go. You need approximately 14 hours of daylight to really get their ovaries activated in producing eggs. So 16 hours is like when it's real prime time, when they're really producing a lot of eggs. So about 14 hours of daylight to get their ovaries kick-started, right? And you know, as a small, you know, I have like 20 plus birds, and right now I'm getting like maybe 1 to 3 eggs, which is totally expected for me, if I even get any that day. And I will say this, that feed has gotten pricey. Whether it's supply chain shortages or full inflation, a bag of feed has gone up like $8 to $10. We're all feeling it, whether we're feeding our dogs, our cats, our chickens, our horse, our sheep, right? We're all feeling that cost. The cost of diesel, everything's gone up. So let's talk about our commercial egg operators, right? That's what's could be supplying your grocery store where you're like, I am not paying that for some eggs. But you know, they had a really tough year. And it's time, you know, like, let's get out and support them, because millions of birds, millions of chickens were lost last year to the avian flu. Now think about that. If you had an outbreak of avian flu, you've got to cull your flock, right? You got to cull your flock. You got to sanitize your operation, right? I don't know if it gets in the wood or how avian... Oh! Noodles just showed up. Whew, I didn't even know he was in there. I'm so sorry. Did I give you a chicken heart attack? Ooh, you heard that squeal. So think about if you had avian flu, right, in your operation, you had to cull your birds. You don't have any more birds. You had to clean your barns, your land, any of that stuff. I don't know what all you had to do, but you had to do probably quite a lot, and it probably cost you a lot of money. And so it takes time to rebuild. And then now you finally got your birds, but chickens, they just don't hatch. They don't just hatch and then come out laying eggs, right? In my experience, and I know there's different breeds are different, right? Have different numbers here, but in my experience, most chickens don't lay for 4 to 6 months, right? And maybe some commercial breeds, they lay sooner. So you've got to wait until they start laying, right? And that might be 4 or 6 months, so you start seeing some return, or you're breaking even, or you're getting out of the red. And then what you may not know is that chickens don't consistently lay eggs every year of their life. They don't lay, for example, let's say it's year 2 for Susie Speckles, and she lays 200 eggs that year. It's her best year ever, and she lays 200 eggs. Well, year 4, she may only lay 25 eggs for me, right? So there's an age thing. And then eventually, you know, in my setup, if Susie Speckle is 6 years old and she's not laying eggs anymore, she's going to live out her life here. But so there's just so many factors of why eggs have gone up. And so Susie and I wanted to share that with you. And I guess Noodles wanted to pop out and scare us. It's like my heart's still jumping over it. But thank you for joining us today. Bye, y'all.